16. No histrionics. Lovely and professional. Sucks in the air. This is for the match.
Game,
And that
shot,
is absolutely perfect. A round of applause even from Chris Mason here in the core commentary box. And that was ultra professional Matt Clark. And as Henry alluded to at the beginning, Matt Clark does what Matt Clark wants to do. And for Michel van der Horst, that's just a realisation that these players are up to get him. He's got the target on his back today. But Matt Clark, that was very, very nice. 90.56. Excellent on the outer ring. 4 from 5. Absolutely perfectly executed. And next up, it's a big game already for Neil Duff. He plays John Worsley.
You require 70.
Yep, these are the chances that Neil Duff's going to get against Worsley today. Scraps. He's going to get a dart for 3-3. And that dart is at his beloved tops.
Game shot on the
finish.
play.
That's why he's a
Neil
champion.
Duff.
Look at that reaction, the obligatory fist bump. That was for the match. And there's absolutely nothing Worsley can do. No dramas at all for Duff. Unless could fill it up, and he can't do it.
81.
So no pressure at all on Neil Duff.
28.
He's behind. He was second best in this match.
Game,
but
shot,
Duff is made of strong stuff.
Neil Duff.
And that's the perfect start for Neil Duff. Former WDF champ. He showed all the fighting quality in that game. He'll be feeling good. It feels extra special when you've been 3-1 down. Just round about that 90 average mark. That was lovely, solid, and Neil Duff is up and running. And it's Colin McGarry who's up next, and he plays Bram van Dijk.
Tops for Bram.
$30. Colin, you require 64.
Yeah, they will frustrate. This will feel like a free hit for McGarry. Been here before.
Game,
it's cool,
shot,
calm, collected
match.
Colin today.
McGarry.
A much better performance. He'll be feeling so much better after that. For Bram van Dijk, you can just see there the smile still on his face, but plenty of work to do. But for Colin McGarry, will it be moving Tuesday for him? Peppered that 90 average for most of that game. Just a couple of little messy darts in the third leg, but overall a very, very solid performance as we move on to game 4. It's the return of John Worsley against Michel van der Horst. An average of 96, Merce.
Yep, that is better than anything he's produced thus far.
140.
Worsley is well off the pace.
140. Michelle, you require 81.
Just to put of interest to this one, it was Worsley started super quick. Gonna have to finish in this one like Sebastian Coe, because this is Michel van der Horst at his very, very best. And look at the reaction there from John Worsley.
Rumpled and going into the bin in the bookmakers up and down the high streets.
Oh, are we just being a little bit unfair to this man? Because a win here, remember, he would then go top of the table. The first play at 10 points, and that must be a real motivation boost when you go back to the players area. He's been by far the best player in this match, and Worsley saved his best start, possibly for his last.
Michelle, you require 8. Game,
absolutely superb darts there from Michel van der Horst. He's proven an awful lot to himself and everybody else, and John Worsley, he looks shell-shocked there. That is a massive, massive win for the Dutchman, averaging very close to 100 throughout, and 96.97 is his best average. But just look at the statistics that we mentioned yesterday. The winner of this group could be the guy who plays and hits the most doubles. 4 from 4 from the Dutchman. Excellent darters. Next up, it's Matt Clark against Bram van Dijk. How it feels.
120.
Well, there hasn't been many positives out with this game. But for Matt Clark, from 2-0 down, really picked up his game with a couple of 17 darters and a 15 darter. But this type of finish, he's been so solid. Look nervy. But he gets there in the end, does Matt Clark.
Matt Clark.
And despite that poor start from Matt Clark, who was excellent in his first game, he's 2 wins out of 2 today. And the problems for Bram van Dijk, they continue. He looks a pretty forlorn figure as he walked off there, but he's got to remember, he's got to see the positives. He's got to keep going. For Matt Clark, he moves on. He's looking really, really good today. Can he go through the card? Looking forward to the next game. Good friends, compatriot. It's Neil Duff against Colin McGarry, who's gone from the bottom of the group right up to the top. And maybe the winner of this group will decide that. Good friends. They've represented the country together.
121.
I thought Neil Duff was superb in his 4-1 demolition of Colin yesterday, averaging just shy of 93. It looked really good, but didn't kick on from there. But he's had a fabulous start to the day, Neil Duff.
100.
Terrific win over John Worsley. Colin McGarry was superb in his demolition of young Bram.
Game shot the first leg. Neil Duff.
Gary thought his was gone as Duff was going for that double 18. He needs the treble 19. Doesn't get it. Neil Duff will have darts for the match in the second time today from 3-1 down. He scraped victory. That's a good marker. And Neil Duff does get over the line in a real thriller. A very, very enjoyable match between two good friends. Fiercely competitive. Not an awful lot to separate, but Neil Duff is on a real run today. And he looked very, very professional. Colin McGarry will see the positives there, but again, he had his chances. But it's Neil Duff that takes the match in a 7-leg thriller. As next up we go, it's Bram van Dijk against John Worsley. Well, for Bram, these finishes have to go now, and he's given himself a chance at tops.
Game shot on the first leg. Bram van Dijk.
For 32. Single 20 for tops. That's a bit of a blocker.
34. John, you required 20.
Well, he slammed the door shut in this game. Another terrific performance from John Worsley, to be fair. He lost the opening leg of that match. But boy, did he play really well after that. Hasn't gone perfect today for John Worsley, but he's right back in the mix. He joins the other players on 10 points, and look at the averages there. He was averaging over 90 throughout that game. And in the end, it was one-way traffic as we move on to another big, big game. They keep on coming. It's Michelle van der Horst against Neil Duff. Highlight the rest of the
82.
positives that's come from Michelle. Start with a bull.
That's okay.
Needs to think here. 15 bull is the shot. That's even better.
62.
A match
Michelle,
start
you require
for Duff.
40.
Tops for Michelle. To continue the theme of breaker throws, double 5.
35.
No.
And he's been that way
20.
before. As Michelle, and Neil Duff has been solid throughout. It was a good scrap, that, and it's Neil Duff that gets over the winning line. Michelle will have his disappointments because a lot of positivity came from him, but Neil Duff was just picking up those scraps that Michelle left. It's a good fight. It went to 6 legs. Look at the average from Michelle van der Horst. It's a clear sign that he was professional, bang on 90 average, but look at his doubles checkout. That was the problem there for Neil Duff. He hung in there, finished when he needed to under pressure. Neil Duff is 3 out of 3 today. And another big game keeps on coming. It's Colin McGarry against Matt Clark. I was about to say only Matt Clark could win this game, really. Double 16 for the match. It was a slow burner again, but a fantastic ending there from Colin McGarry. I think there was a bit of an issue after the 5th leg. They'll sort it out, no problems whatsoever. I think Matt Clark will just be disappointed the way that the outcome of that game in the end. But for Colin McGarry, he was the one who found something after that 5th leg, and the best was saved till the end. McGarry wins by 4 legs to 3 as we move on to an all-Dutch affair. It's Michelle van der Horst against Bram van Dijk. That's up next.
Players that do take up the sport young will have that ability.
This is ability. It's double 8. That is what Bram van Dijk is all about.
Yep, gets it. Double 16.
58.
Ooh.
Bram, you required 12.
I thought that was in there. Hold yourself together. And he gets over the line. It was a 4-0 victory yesterday for Michelle van der Horst against Bram van Dijk. And a total roles reversal as Bram van Dijk gets his first win of the day. The obligatory fist pump. And an excellent performance from the young man. 84.68. Some fantastic finishes. The 1-3-6 being the highlight. Excellent darts from Bram van Dijk as we move on to the next game. The return of John Worsley. And he plays Colin McGarry.
John, you require 124.
The 1 treble needed in his first 2 darts of Worsley. Starting treble 20. He's got it. So we go to the 14's bed. Will be the bullseye.
Game shot on the
That's the
second
difference
leg.
from 1-1 and 2-2. McGarry had the chance at the bullseye. And that's nice from there from the Chief, but inside he'll be raging.
Double 12. Double 6 to save it.
66. John, you require 40.
This match has all been about John Worsley. Previous game was 4-0. Been some tight affairs, but it's John Worsley who goes top of the table. He is the first player to go to 12 points against a real out-of-sorts Colin McGarry. He'll be frustrated with that performance, but John Worsley will be delighted. That 1-2-4 finish was great, round about the 90 average. He moves top of the table, and it's Neil Duff up next, and he plays Matt Clark. Here we go again.
Game shot.
4 wins out of 4 for Neil Duff. It wasn't pretty at times there, but that's what you have to do. They're the kind of games you're involved in here at the Motor Super Series. And he'll be chuffed to pieces to get over the winning line, because double 5 is never the easiest start. And for Matt Clark, he's been involved in 2 7-leggers, and he's come on the wrong end. But the statistic there for Matt Clark, 3 from 17. That's been his Achilles heel. Great day so far for Neil Duff. Final games for all the players up next now. First of all, it's Colin McGarry against Michelle van der Horst. Can help the rhythm.
One of my pet hates that. You've got all that time at the back of the stage waiting for your opponent to finish.
60.
You should know what they're on.
Michelle,
you can see it.
25.
He knows what he needs for the match.
Game
Michelle van der Horst, he does move on to 12 points. He's been very competitive over 2 days. He'll be satisfied with that. He'll be delighted with a win over Colin McGarry, once again, who's had a real up and down day. And it's all about the checkout ratio for both players. Scoring, no problem. Finishing, that's where the problem lies. But it's 2 points for the Dutchman, and he'll be delighted with the way his day's finished as we move on to the penultimate game of the day. It's Bram van Dijk against Neil Duff.
Neil, you require 18. Game shot.
The perfect day for Neil Duff. 5 wins from 5. Job done. Ultimately, it's about big finishes and big scores, but Neil Duff will be chuffed to pieces with that. And for Bram van Dijk, he demonstrated some of his real qualities today, but it's just the 1 win for Bram. But for Neil Duff, he's put himself right in the mix. And he's saying to John Worsley, can you follow that? Well, he's up next. He plays Matt Clark, our final game of the day. Well, it's been an up and down day for Matt Clark, but he can finish on a real high, and does with a big 4-0 victory over John Worsley. Just the 2 wins for John Worsley today. That will disappoint him, but it's a fascinating Group A contest. And Matt Clark will want to come back with his best tomorrow. He was pretty dominant throughout, mid-80 average, nothing special. Really good on the outer ring, and I've always said that today with Matt Clark. But it's been a day for Neil Duff. 5 out of 5. He sits pretty at the top. All to play for tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you very much, Chris Mason, alongside me. And for Matt Clark, crucial victory that at the end of the day.
Yeah, massive for him going into tomorrow. A very up and down day for a lot of the players, excluding Neil Duff, who just managed to grind out 5 from 5.
What do you think it was? Because it felt like it was cagey at times today.
Yeah, it seemed nervy, didn't it? There was definitely an edgy feel to it. I think after yesterday, everybody felt like they were in with a bit of a shout of making a move today, and most of them did make a bit of a move in different directions. As
for Neil Duff, as you say, 5 from 5, perfect day for him today, and we expected a reaction from him, and boy, did we get one.
Yeah, for me, it was him or Colin McGarry that was going to make a bit of a move today, but Colin McGarry, again, he's just not getting the rewards. He's getting himself in positions, missing a few too many doubles, which has been a bit of a theme. But you've got to remember, I suppose, this is, for a lot of them, their first matches back over the Christmas period. They'd have been, no doubt, watching the Worlds, and there's not too much competitive play. The leagues would have finished for the Christmas break. So yeah, they just tend to be a little bit rusty on the outside wire.
Well, let's have a look and see the full results then from today. These are the 15 matches that have come and gone. As far as John Worsley's concerned, he picked up 4 wins on day 1. It was a reversal today. Now, we were mentioning with Glenn up here yesterday that he hasn't been playing, or he was saying he hasn't played much competitive darts because of what's happening away from the hockey. Did that maybe catch up with him a little bit today?
Yeah, he was okay yesterday, but probably the expectations would have been a lot lower, and that sometimes allows you to play with a bit more freedom. Yeah, I can't quite pinpoint where it went wrong for him today, because during the scoring phases he looked okay at times, but I think everybody else around him played a little bit better and maybe punished him for any mistakes he made.
Well, we call Tuesday moving day for a reason. We can have a look at the table now, and this is as to why, because John Worsley and Michel van der Horst, well, they were the top 2, and now they find themselves 3rd and 4th respectively, because it's Neil Duff from Matt Clark, but there's 4 horses in this race going into tomorrow.
Yeah, I think this is all down to now who's going to battle it out for possibly that 3rd and final spot to get into Group B, which is always an advantage. 5 players in that field with the top 3 going through. But any one of those 4, I think on the evidence that we've seen, there's not much in them in between of point score, but there's a lot of difference in terms of averages and numbers. So I'll be crunching those tomorrow morning and having a bit more of an in-depth look at them.
And it's also difficult to pick apart because most players have actually had differentiating days from day 1 to day 2.
Yeah, they seem to be beating each other, don't they? And again, that's the fact that there's not too much difference between them in terms of finishing stats. There's a big difference in terms of scoring, though, and running averages. I mean, yesterday, 94 for the day for John Worsley, and he just couldn't continue that up today. If he would have done, I think he would have gone through the card quite comfortably today, 5 from 5, and been almost home and hosed.
Well, shall we do it again tomorrow?
We will.
Well, enjoy. Thank you, Chris, for your company today. We shall see you tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. on Sporty Stuff TV and on the Super Series YouTube channel to see the culmination and conclusion to Group A. But as far as Tuesday is concerned, well, it was a happy few hours for the Duff man.